I said this on Instagram. I feel like UFC London, like it had like a lot of storylines, and like there were just like a lot of ups and downs just throughout the card. Like the prelims kind of sucked. I'm just gonna be honest. We'll talk about like a couple of them as we get on, but like, yeah, I mean the prelims kind of sucked. The main card was interesting. I mean there were some good fights, some ones. Main event, obviously, you know, that just sucks. Like Tom Aspinall, I think they said he probably tore his MCL. So that was like 15 seconds in too. So like they literally like it's a loss to Curtis Blaydes, which I mean that's not the way a fighter ever wants to win. And Curtis Blaydes was like super classy about it. I don't know if you saw that. He had like a beer with him and everything.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that.
Cool. I also saw. I'll probably put this picture in the video. The meme of Tom Aspinall, Peter Griffin holding his knee, and even he thought that was fun. Like I like when a fighter can laugh at themselves like that, like even in like a shitty situation. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, like I know me and you both coming in thought that Tom Aspinall was gonna really like be able to put on a show against one of the most elite heavyweights in the promotion, but you know, injuries, man, fucking stinks. What was your like reaction when you saw that?
It's just, yeah. No, I mean, I guess I've been watching long enough, and I guess sports in general long enough to, like, you know, when a freak accident like that happens, you know, like, it's just, it is what it is. Like, just, yeah, it's like, you're gonna be angry in the moment, obviously. Like, no one wants to see that, but, I don't, you know, like, I just hope down, because honestly, like, for the 15 seconds that fight lasted, like, it looked like they were just gonna be trading.
It's gonna be competitive,
yeah. They looked like it was just, you know, I mean, it, you know, with a heavyweight fight, like, that's kind of how it always goes. Like, the first round is, like, you know, anything could happen, and as the fight just goes on, like, you know, that does tend to get more tired, it gets more slower, but... Yeah, no, it really that stuck, man.
Because that fight would have been a good fight. Like that would have told us a lot about Tom Aspinall.
It really would.
I mean, going against a guy who's elite as Curtis Blaydes. Like I always say, like, you know, people know him obviously as like a wrestler, and like that's fair because he has the most takedowns in heavyweight history. But like his striking has gotten so much better too, and like I still don't think it was better than Aspinall's, but it's good enough that like it can. Because what Curtis Blaydes is always good at, it's like he'll threaten with the takedown, and then sometimes he'll actually go for it, and then sometimes he'll fake it and then go for the overhand. And he actually like has like power in his hands, so like it works a lot of the time. It's just a really interesting style. That's why I was like, oh, why did Tom Aspinall have to do that? Well, it's not his fault, but it still sucks. The one thing though that I thought of literally like today, and it kind of like worries me, and I hope like to the MMA gods that it doesn't happen. But I thought of Travis Brown, because him and Tom Aspinall have like similar styles. Like they bounce around a lot, good footwork, and Travis Brown was like a world beater before he hurt his knees, and then like all of a sudden like his knees were just going. Like he would always get hurt, and like it kind of like ruined his like the prime of his career, which like I hope does not happen here. But I feel like it won't. Aspinall seems like he's smart like about recovery and things like that. I don't think he's gonna try and rush it. So it's just I hope that doesn't happen though, because at heavyweights you really never know, because that's like that's a big dude, you know, jumping around like that. It's crazy. Like he's very like light on his feet for a big guy like that, because he's big for, like even for that weight class. It's unfortunate though. I mean, I hope the injuries don't like mess him up in the future. But Curtis Blaydes, I guess for him, I'd still say you should get the winner of Gane versus Tuivasa. Like, yeah, it won't be as big of a fight now because of this, but, you know, you got to move the division forward no matter what. So, it sucks to see that. But I guess we can go to the co-main event, because obviously there's not much to break down in the main event. But Chris Curtis threw a temper tantrum because Jack Hermansson was able to just outpoint him. He like, dude, all the memes that I've seen about this have been like hilarious. Like he was literally just mad because he didn't win. Like he's just mad because he couldn't hit him. Like point fighting's a style, whether you like it or not. Like he's like, he wasn't there for me to knock him out. Like of course not. Like that's not what he's gonna do.
I mean, like because you have to force your opponent to fight the way that you want them to fight, you know? Like,
yeah, like, he's pressuring him, yeah, but, like, Hermansson doesn't have to do shit technically.
Exactly.
He just has to counter like he was doing.
Just move around, lateral movement, and just jab a few jabs and whatnot here and there, and just that's it. It's like if Chris Curtis isn't gonna hit you, then what's stopping you from hitting them? Exactly.
He's like mad that it wasn't a war. He's like, what do you like? We don't get paid more for that. Like sometimes you do, I guess, because of the fight and the fight bonus, but it's just like, why would you want to if your opponent is there to be hit and you can just evade him?
Dude, Chris Curtis was literally laughing at the thought of Jack Hermansson standing up with him.
Yeah, and he ended up getting dominated on the feet.
It wasn't until literally the last few minutes of the last round where Jack Hermansson went for a takedown that Chris Curtis actually stuffed, and then.
Yeah, that's why I thought Curtis was going to win coming in. I really thought his striking was going to be better than Hermansson's, but we were both wrong on that one. But great performance by him, honestly. Despite the lack of, excitement, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's still a good win over a good opponent. And, my reaction to, Chris Curtis at first was pretty harsh. I was out and I was watching it, and, I was, cursing. I was like, this guy's a fucking piece of shit. I was, so mad. But then I thought about it. I'm like, no, he's not really that bad. Because, I think about it, you probably the adrenaline that's still in your body, and especially if you didn't get to really hit him, you're probably still all worked up because you didn't really do much, and you're like, oh, I wish I would have done more there. But still, I mean, it doesn't completely wash it away for me, even though he apologized and everything. And Hermansson handled it with class. He apologized. He didn't do nothing wrong. He said to the face I'm sorry for saying something. And he's like, not dude, Chris Curtis, he flipped you off and literally tried to hit you. It's so bad. I don't think it a sorry from Chris Curtis, and because he did apologize and take a picture with him later. He said, "Stupid nice Jack Hermansson, stupid nice guy," and. Yeah, I mean, how can you stay mad at a guy like Jack Hermansson? He's one of the nicest dudes in the sport. But it still doesn't, completely wash it away because, at the end of the day, that's a style of fighting, that works, and you can't just get mad because the guy didn't fight your style of fight. And then, that doing all that after the fight was just kind of, it's very classless. It's bad sportsmanship, and, I mean, it sounds stupid to say that about a fight, but, in that case, you know what I mean? I don't know. I if it's one thing, if you're having a war and you throw a strike after the bell and it's heated, that's different. But considering the slow pace of that fight, and then to just get mad at it after when you probably you theoretically probably could have done more. It's just I don't know. I didn't like that really from Chris Curtis, but I think it was just a mistake probably in the moment with adrenaline. Happens, I guess, to the best of us, but we'll move on. I guess we can get to probably the biggest topic of the whole card. Paddy Pimblett submitted Jordan Levitt with a rear naked choke that was round 2, right? I think it was round 2. I honestly, there's still all the haters in the comments on Instagram and shit calling him a bum and saying he's beating cans. Jordan Levitt is not a can. I don't care what anybody says. He's a prospect, think of that what you will. But he's a good grappler. He's got pretty good striking. He looked good in the first part of round 1, but Paddy was able to turn it around. And in round 2, though, I was really impressed the most by his fight IQ, because to know that his hands were off the ground in that position and to land that knee when he wasn't expecting that, what good fight IQ. That's what I'm saying. There is potential there. I don't care what anybody says. He's got his flaws for sure, but there's special traits that he has that could get him to the upper levels from here. And I don't know if I want to see him fight somebody ranked yet still, even though he looked pretty I'm very impressed by his win, honestly. But I still think he has room to grow. I think he can get better on the feet, get stronger, and I think he will, honestly. I think he has a lot of potential, and the hype. At first, I was kind of thinking all right, well, this might just be all hype. Now I think that there's a reason for it, and I'm this one really is the one that makes me believe that there might be something
by no means do I think Paddy is this generational type fighter that the UFC just brought in, but
not yet.
For him to I think it's so cool how you can for him to create this hype for himself the way he has, and to build this fan base, and to by the end of the day, he's winning. It don't matter. He's winning the fights, and
that's all you need.
Exactly.
He's finishing them too. They're all exciting. All 3 have been crazy. I love it. Like, I'm enjoying the hell out of this. I was literally, like, thinking to myself, like, before his next fight, I'm getting one of those blonde wigs. Like, so next time on the pod, I'm wearing one. Because you know that, like, Paddy even said it himself, he's fighting on pay-per-views from now on. Like, that's happening.
Yeah, man.
I think, and he's earned that through these 3 finishes. And just from, like, what he's bringing to the UFC and, like, I guess I can kind of get into this now because I was thinking about it, like, the day after. But, like, the fact that him and Molly McCann are sponsored, too, by Barstool is so cool. And, like, it's good for them because they're making a lot of money. And it's great for the sport because more eyeballs on those two.
Yeah.
And doing content with them, like, is definitely making it more worldwide. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because Barstool now is going out to the UK and shit. And fucking Dave Portnoy came with the top hat and the monocle. That was hilarious. That guy's a legend, truly. But back to Paddy the Baddy though, he I was impressed. Like I said, this, in my opinion, this is no can. That was a really good fighter, but I don't know. I mean, what did you think? I guess, like, coming out of this fight, like, where are you at with his hype?
I see a guy who's honestly just getting better with each fight, and so, like, you know, obviously the opponent's gonna get even better too, but it's. Like I said, I agree with you. I don't want to see him fight someone ranked yet. I think it's too soon. And then, like, you know, I mean, I think the UFC, you know, probably, I would hope the UFC realizes that too. Like, you know.
I think they don't want him to lose this early. I feel like they're definitely, like, even
you
Jordan Levitt was a smart step up, in my opinion.
I think you should let him get at least, like, 5 fights under his belt. And then evaluate that. And then, you know, you can really give him, like, the perfect opponent for the time. But
yeah, well, I mean, lightweight division will never run out of people for him to fight.
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens with that. But the other thing too, his post-fight interview was awesome. Like the mental health thing.
Yeah,
that was cool.
really.
I like
cool.
that was trending. But yeah, I mean, that's all I gotta say. I mean, just praise to him for that, because using your platform for, like, good is, like, awesome. And, like, I've been following him since, like, Cage Warriors days, and, like, he's been about that since, like, day one. So this isn't, like, some PR stunt. Like, he's for real about this, and, like, it's cool. So good for him. Good win for him. I hope he gets, like, another big fight next, hopefully on a pay-per-view or something, like a big card at the very least. But moving on to the fight before that. All right. I had, like, a big problem when I saw this fight was booked on Fight Week. Nikita Krylov versus Alexander Gustafsson. Now, Gustafsson has not won a fight since 2017. He's had, I think, the Jones... Here, let me look it up, actually. I'll get this up. I don't want to get it wrong. But, like, I just had a hard time watching this fight. And... Because I knew this was going to happen. Like, you could just tell. He looked like he's older. He's been retired twice, 2 different weight classes. Nikita Krylov is still, like, a good contender in that division. I was like, this is not going to be good. Like, what did you think?
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. That is it. I guess I could have seen at least Gustafsson. Krylov would have honestly been, like, a good lock of the night, because I would have seen Gustafsson at least making it out of the first round. But I'm with you.
Honestly, if Mokaev wasn't,
I don't see how. I really didn't see any scenario where they go all 3 rounds, and, you know, unless, like, some egregious judging decision, like, you know, in which case Gustafsson wins.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness, it wasn't even close to the all 3 rounds. Like,
yeah,
first 2 minutes or something, not even
no,
the first minute.
1
of the
minute
fight.
and 7 seconds. In round
first
1.
minute of the fight. That's it.
Yeah, and his 3 losses before that were all finishes. The next one, because the fight before that was the war that he had with Glover Teixeira, and then he lost to John Jones in the rematch when they fought for the title. Lost to Anthony Smith by rear naked choke. I remember that fight. He was doing good in that fight too.
What are we doing?
Mauricio Verdum. That was a bad one. Verdum destroyed him in that fight. Armbar within the first couple minutes, and then this one gets finished with
What are we doing? What are we doing here? Like, that wasn't a good fight.
I didn't like that. It's just like, I don't know. It's kind of like, I thought it was, like, disgusting matchmaking, to be honest. Like, usually I have, like, a lot of praise for the matchmakers, but I don't know what the hell they were thinking when they booked this. Like, I get that he's a big name and you want to give him somebody who's worth it, but, like, geez, like, that you got to, like, look at history at that point. And, like, you know, I don't want to like talk all bad. And it was a great win for Krylov, by the way. Like hopefully he gets a nice big fight after this for beating a big name like Gustafsson. But I mainly want to talk about Gustafsson because I agreed with what DC was saying on Twitter. I think that he should be done. Like there's nothing left that he needs to prove. He's not getting to that upper echelon anymore. I'm sorry to say it. Like it's just not happening. And yeah, I mean, even his career like has been crazy. Like he had
kind of
continue.
Not to say like feels like in which like like it's exactly like this, but it kind of reminds me of like Cowboy in the sense that he's being fed to all these these young talents and whatnot, just like he's got the name value and whatnot, and you obviously want to promote these up and comers, so you give him
it's weird. Kyle, I don't know if I wouldn't even say that Kyle's an up and comer. I would say he's like more of a gatekeeper, but like Gustafsson hasn't even looked like remotely good in like the past 2 years. Like the Anthony Smith fight, he lost that fight, but he looked like okay. Like I remember he was landing punches. The John Jones fight, he looked horrible. That was a bad one. He just got destroyed by John Jones, and the Verdum one was really quick. So like I don't know. I don't know where you go from here. Like that's basically the next step, if you ask me. Like if they were to give him probably someone to build like the name, I just don't want to see that. Like he had the war with John Jones. Like when John Jones was looking unbeatable, he had a war with DC. Like talk about like one of the greatest fighters to never win the belt. Like man, he was so close twice, and he missed it both times. Just because like. It really is crazy. Like, he ran into two of the greatest fighters of all time. Like, if it wasn't for DC and John Jones, that man would have been the champion. Him or Rumble, probably. I mean, Rumble destroyed him.
It's crazy how the UFC timeline works.
Yeah, I think his chin is honestly done. Like I said, he's had the 2 wars. The fight with Glover Teixeira that he had was a war, even though he won that fight. He got, destroyed by Anthony Johnson. Like that was a horrible, horrible knockout. And I mean and like I said, his last few fights were finishes too. And like even that last John Jones fight I think about, he literally had him just pinned down. He was just landing like ground and pound on his head. It was just nasty. I just don't think he should be fighting anymore. I don't see any reason to. Like he's one of the greatest light heavyweights of that era, even though he was never champ. And I think he should be proud of that. I feel like he should be satisfied with it because I don't want to see him just keep getting hurt. Like now he's 18-8 too, so I don't know. I think I'm done with him fighting. What do you think? You too?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I kind of did he have a spot in the rankings prior? I would think he did. No,
because he retired. Like I said, he retired after the Smith fight, I think, and then he retired after the Verdun one.
He's not getting back into there. So.
Yeah, you can't have gaps like that at that age and expect to keep up with the speed, which he clearly did not keep up with. And his chin is already I don't know. I think he's done. But still, either way, great win by Nikita Krylov. But moving on to Molly the Meatball McCann, who I'm gonna preface this by saying I'm a fan of, but I can't stand this hype train that the UFC is trying to put on with her. Great performance. I mean, I just think that Hannah Goldie is not good. That's the thing. I don't want I hate to sound because by no means I'm a fan too, but by no means am I trying to sound a hater when I say this. But even that fight, at least the beginning, Hannah Goldie was had her in at least a few predicaments and whatnot. He was getting some offense. She's very strong.
Because I'm sure the UFC brass is she's gonna completely dominate this girl. It's gonna be great. First round finish and all that. But
it's just Molly McCann. She's very hittable and she's got pretty good power. Really good power. And
I mean, I thought it was cool. She's get up, and then she got up, and then just immediately got on her. But
Hannah Goldie she's even slower than Molly McCann. Her striking is so it's very robotic and predictable.
Yeah.
It was such the only thing that she really presented was a strong grappling threat, and even that wasn't that much of a threat. Because Molly McCann, to give her credit, she also is really strong. And like I said, that's why I think she's so powerful with her punches and her elbows. The finish was crazy. I want to give her props for that. Another elbow finish like that. But the hype train behind it, like, you know, and she's talking so much shit to, like, so many people that would literally, like, destroy it. Like, Miranda Maverick called her out, and she said, like, she literally, like, I don't remember. She said something crazy.
Yeah, no,
But,
she
like,
said something crazy already.
Miranda Maverick, like, that's not a good fight for Molly McCann, if you ask me. That'll end that hype train real quick. I remember I said to you on Instagram this morning, I was like, they should just throw Erin Blanchfield will end that hype train real fast. That one will be done within a round. But she's really getting... I just don't like it because, like, it's almost like she's riding Paddy Pimblett's coattails. Like, because he deserves it. Like, he completely deserves it. But Molly McCann, like, she's been beat in the UFC plenty of times. Like, people don't remember. She was on the verge of getting cut when she won... I think it was... Hold on, let me look this up because I don't want to get it wrong. Because she was losing. I remember. That's how I remember her, because, like, she was losing all these fights, and now, like, they act like she's some sort of, like, world beater. She's a good fighter, though. Like, she's not bad. She's just, like, a brawler. She lost to Talia... All right, well, I can't give her too much slack for losing to Talia Santos. But then she lost to Lara Fritzen by decision. And then I remember that fight with Jun Yun Kim. I remember that one. I remember I said it was going to be a war. And it was, but then she won. So, like, that's why I thought, like, before this hype train kind of started, I was like, all right, well, she's not bad, but she's not, like, crazy good either. She had, like, a good run in, like, 2018, 2019, but, like, it kind of seemed to trail off, but it seems like she's back into it. Hey, who knows? I mean, maybe she'll get better and better. Maybe she's, like, one of those fighters who's good off, like, momentum. You know what I mean? Like, she's riding high, clearly.
But I don't know, like, you know, when you get a head too big for your shoulders like that, and then the time comes, you know, to, you know, prove it.
Maverick's a dangerous fight. Yeah. If she gets that fight, that's not a good fight.
It just feels like, you know, you're putting more pressure on yourself than you need to, almost.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, if she loses, like,
I don't think she cares about that, though, to be honest. I feel like she soaks up the energy. Like, I don't think she gets phased. Because, like, clearly her and Paddy are really good at living up to, like, the moment. You know what I mean? Because both the two London cards, they've had just, like, crazy knockouts. Well, Paddy's was a submission this time. But, or was it a submission last time? I don't even know. I get his first two fights mixed up. Because I remember Vengermini was a knockout. But I don't remember the other one, to be honest. It might have been.
I think it was, it was actually. I don't remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure it was a submission finish.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't know. Like, Paddy, like, he's 19-3. Like, he's barely lost. And the thing with him, too, is, like, he's always really good at, like, coming back, like, from adversity. Like, even in Cage Warriors, he was always doing that. Like, one fight I highly recommend is him versus Julian Erosa, who's obviously doing pretty well in the UFC himself in the featherweight division. I think, right? Yeah, I think he's a featherweight now. But him and Paddy had a great fight in Cage Warriors. But I don't know. Molly McCann, I'm not sold yet. I just don't like how they're just everywhere together. Like, I get they're best friends, but it's like the UFC keeps, like, setting it up that way. It's, like, annoying. Yeah. But I just don't like how big her head is getting for someone, like, who's beating, like, girls who aren't that good. Like, Paddy, I give respect because, like, Jordan... Well, I give respect to all of them, like, as I've always said. Like, anybody who's stepping in that octagon deserves it. You know what I mean? But there's levels to the game, and she's fighting girls who are not anywhere near, like, the highest. So, I don't know. Well, I hope she gets the Miranda Maverick fight, honestly, like, in a way, because, I mean, that'll tell us right there. She's going to have to prove it one way or another, because Miranda Maverick is a really good striker. So, it'll be interesting to see if that fight gets made. I'm curious to see if the UFC wants it to be made, because I could see it, because Miranda Maverick has had, like, a little bit of, like, a rough patch lately, I think. Like, she's been, you know, so-so in her fights. But we'll see. But I guess last thing with the main card was Volkan Oezdemir versus Paul Craig. That was a pretty good fight. I'm a big Paul Craig fan, so I was kind of sad that he lost. But I get it. People were getting mad at him for the game plan. I don't think you can get mad at Paul Craig for the game plan. No. Like, he's been fighting that way since, like, he first got in the UFC. Like, he's one of those guys who isn't going to be, like... He's not going to be one of those dudes all around, like, great. He wants to win by submission off his back. That's how he fights. it's not a bad game plan.
Yeah,
It's just how he fights.
Oezdemir was not having any bit of it.
Yeah.
Every time he went to his back, it's like, get up.
And that's the smart thing to do. That's exactly what you
Exactly.
should do. Like, and that's why he won the fight. He dominated
Yeah.
him. Like, he defended all the takedowns. Like, it was the way to beat him. But, like, Paul Craig, like, I hate just how people are saying, like, oh, what a dumb game plan. Like, he fights like this every fight. Like, like, I hate when they're okay with it when he wins. Like, because that's why I wasn't, because we've had, like, podcasts already with Paul Craig, like, Paul Craig fights. We've given him praise. Like, I can't just all of a sudden say that, like, oh, yeah, the thing that I've been giving him praise for, yeah, no, he shouldn't do that. Like, I remember the last time he had a fight, I think I said that he has the best, like, organic, like, jiu-jitsu in the game, like, because he just uses it, like, when he fights, like, because he doesn't rely on other martial arts. He's strictly into jiu-jitsu. So, like, if that's how he chooses to fight, I can't knock him for that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But, what the hell are you doing?
Just
I don't know if that's going to come up on the audio, but from where I'm sitting, I'm just looking at Tiz,
I really
and
hope
his
it
arms
doesn't.
are under the table, and I just hear, like, smack. I'm like, what is going on?
I hope
He's
it
getting too
doesn't.
excited.
just so nobody hears anything on the video, and you're just the only one that's like, what are you doing?
Just know that if anybody else heard that I do not believe that Tiz was doing something horrible. But
Yeah.
anyway, I didn't think Volkan Oezdemir was that attractive, to be honest. I don't know if the thought of him got you going, but I'm just gonna move on.
my
I don't even want to talk about
God.
this fight anymore. We're just gonna move on to the prelims.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
move on.
We'll just go. That's
good.
one of those pause moments. Had to be addressed. had to be addressed. We can't just let you get away with that one. No, but anyway, to the prelims. They weren't that good, but there were a couple performances that were pretty good. Jonathan Pearce, who he beat Mr. Finland, Makwan Amirkhani. Never liked him that much. I always thought he was a weirdo because there was that one weird-ass video of him eating an apple. Like, really, like, just, it was, the only way I could say it is seductively. Maybe this is a good topic to get into. This is a good topic. He was, like, on Instagram, like, a few years ago, and some reporter asked him about it before a fight night. And, like, he had nothing. Because, like, what do you say? Like, it's his own fault. I would say it like that. It's his own fault.
Wait, just recording himself eating apple. Not only is he eating the apple, but he's doing it
in a very odd way. Like, it's not like, it wasn't like he's just posting like himself eating an apple.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, healthy eating. Like, he was looking into the camera. Like, I don't even want to imitate it because it's kind of
nothing I just
kind of
did right
disturbing,
now
right?
even comes close to that.
Yeah, no, I think, well, what you were accused of doing goes above it. What you were actually doing is nowhere near it. I agree.
There you go.
But, yeah, no, I mean, like, I remember one time, every time, like, I used to see him fight, I would always say, like, I hope he gets knocked out because I can't stand him. He's weird. And then
man.
he fought Lerone Murphy in, I think it was on Fight Island, and Lerone Murphy hit him with a knee that was so violent that he was, like, out on the ground, like, cold.
Dude.
I was like, I feel so bad now. But this
That's
one was
exactly honestly how I felt after this fight.
Yeah.
Oh my, he took
another bad one.
Dude, he took a beating. Like, man.
Yeah, Jonathan Pearce is low-key racking up a little resume. Like, I knew who he was, like, coming in, but I didn't really think much of it. Because, like, I don't know. Like, I'm going to look him up. Let's see who he's beaten so far in the UFC. Like, I was really impressed. Like, he looked fantastic in this fight. He
really did, though. I'm not gonna lie.
He has a ground and pound finish over Kai Kamaka. That's crazy. Oh, yeah, I remember that. His first fight in the UFC... Wait, is this the card I think it is? It was. Yeah, his first fight in the UFC was Joe Lauzon's original retirement fight, and Joe Lauzon beat him in Boston. He knocked him out within, like, the first couple minutes. Minute and a half. Like, I remember that fight. I remember because I was at Half Apps, and it was on ESPN, like, normally ESPN was on cable. And, yeah, that was the one. It was Dom Reyes versus Chris Weidman, which was not a good fight for Chris Weidman. But, yeah, not a good fight. Not a good night for Jonathan Pearce, too. But he seems to have turned it around since then. 4-fight win streak. 3 of his last 4 finishes. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he, like, I would like to see him, honestly, like, get kind of pushed, like, up the featherweight ladder, because I feel like he's, like, a really good fighter. Like, he's very talented. And Makwan Amirkhani is no slouch. That's a good win. Like, I respect that win a lot.
I like that Pearce was so just, like, you know, into, like, he was clearly going to finish. He had Amirkhani hurt, like, bad.
Yeah.
And it was just elbow after elbow after elbow, any strike that he could throw at him, and then... You know,
I'm starting to feel bad for always wishing that he got knocked out, because his last 2 knockout losses have been so brutal. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I didn't mean it.
There was a roll, too, in which Pearce was trying to get the arm for, like, a Kimura or something. And that right there, I was like, wow, like, this guy's actually, you know, might be legit.
Yeah, I like the commentary a lot better in the prelims, as shitty as the prelims were, because I think Bisping was getting a little drunk. I don't know. By the main event, he seems like he was slurring a little bit. He's like saying,
I had the
Tom Aspinall, isn't he? It's not Curtis's fault. No.
I had the commentary on for the co-main and the main event. I didn't have it on for the rest of the card, but
yeah. I know.
I was hearing what you were talking about a little bit.
He was slurring a tiny bit.
But it was pretty funny.
Can't hate him. He was still doing all right. He was in the spot. I'd rather see him a little bit inebriated there than in the Apex. But, yeah. Besides that, though, on the prelims, the only, like, other one that I wanted to talk about was my lock of the night. Did you pick your lock of the night in Underdog or no?
No, I only just gave picks on what was going to win the last 3 fights.
Got you. But, yeah, I mean, either way, I gave mine, like, real quick on Instagram. I think it was the day of. Muhammad Mokaev just looked incredible in that win versus Charles Johnson. That's his name? I think it was.
Charles Johnson.
Now, I guess we could start. I mean, for one, he had a flyweight record. I think if I'm not mistaken, he might have broken his own record of most takedowns in a flyweight fight, 12. So that's crazy. He didn't look as good as he's looked in his other fights, but nonetheless, he's moving up the ladder. It's going to get harder, but either way, he looked dominant. But you had something to say about his opponent.
Oh yeah, man. That's gotta go. Like, you know, that just has to go. Like, you gotta give it up, Charles Johnson. I mean, I was so, like, thrown off by, because I hadn't seen any, like, you know, for this fight at least in particular, I didn't seen, like, any weigh-ins or whatnot. Like, all I had seen was, you know, the fight. Like, I saw the fight was booked, obviously on the card, and then, you know, them entering the cage, and then I had not seen what the hell was on the back of his head, and it was like,
wasn't it green?
Is that what I think it?
I'm pretty sure
it was green. It was like,
for anybody, we'll put a picture in for anybody who hasn't seen it.
It was like this yellow, you know, kind of. It wasn't even blonde. It was more like just. I mean,
that was definitely one of the colors on the rainbow right there. That was not like a normal hair color.
Yeah, man, that was really odd.
Yeah, it was like weird. Like, you remember? I don't know if there's any football fans watching. Like, if you guys remember, like when Von Miller at one point had like the hair only in the back. That's pretty much.
I've seen guys with like rat tails and stuff.
Which is, by the way, I would like to say is the stupidest haircut in human history. I think that's the ugliest. Like, who the fuck thought that was a good idea? Like, it's good if you're like a fucking knight in like the 1400s.
Man.
But like
I would just let it go. Like, you
like,
know, like you have nothing on the
doing?
top of your head. What's the point of keeping stuff on the back of your head?
The old Ben Franklin haircut. That's another one. He rocked that. He rocked it. I'll give him credit. He looked good with it. But, God, man, we're talking more about this guy's haircut than Mokaev's fight.
Oh, yeah.
We had to touch on it.
Mokaev,
it was too crazy not to.
That suplex was awesome.
Yeah, I like that textbook at the end of the fight. I like that was a nice little statement at the end there. But great win by him. I mean, I think he's ready for a ranked opponent. I thought he was ready when he first got into the UFC. I still think he's ready now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's setting records already. Let's get this guy someone in the top 15. I'm going to look at the UFC flyweight rankings real quick. I kind of just want to see. I always, like, that's one of those divisions where, like, I never really am like, oh, you know who I'd like to see him against? Manel Cape.
Oh,
He's number 13. That's a good fight. That would be a good fight.
Yeah. So that's like grappling paradise right there.
Yeah, that's a crazy fight. And I'd like to see what Mokaev could do against him on the feet. Because, Cape's got crazy good striking. I'd love to see that fight. But yeah, I think I'm done there. Now that we've established what his future is going to be. Great UFC. Well, I wouldn't say a great card in the sense that it was like action packed from beginning to end, but it had its moments, and those moments definitely made it awesome. London, it's always fun when they go there because the fans have the greatest energy. Like you even saw it during like Paddy's walkout, Tom Aspinall's walkout. It was a good event nonetheless. Good. Not all of them are going to be crazy. Yeah. You know what I mean? But speaking of crazy events on paper, I wanted to get into a couple other topics while we were here, just because I feel like a few just crazy fights have been booked lately. But UFC 280 on paper might be the card of the year. I mean, we got in the main event, I think. Who is in the main event? Actually, that one, I don't even know. It's a title fight. Oh, it's isn't that the Usman? No, it's UFC 270. I'm gonna look this up now. I don't want to get it wrong. I'm pretty sure this has some crazy ass main event. That's right, Oezdemir and Mokaev. Yeah, it's in Abu Dhabi, and Islam Makhachev's backyard, obviously. We still got, now I think it was the bantamweight title fight was originally supposed to be in September, but then Diaz versus Hamzat got booked, which we'll get into in a little bit, but we're going to save that. But that got moved to October, so that's going to be the co-main event, Aljamain Sterling and TJ Dillashaw. Then Bilal Muhammad versus Sean Brady, which I cannot wait for. That's going to be such a good fight. Two insanely good wrestlers. Who the hell wins that? On the feet, I think they're pretty close too. I can't wait for that fight. You know me, I love those high-level chess match type fights. This is going to be one of those. And besides that, another crazy good fight, Beneil Dariush versus Matus Gamrot. Did not think that fight was going to happen. Respect to Beneil Dariush for taking that fight. I guess he figures he wins, he's getting the title shot. I would imagine that's what they told him.
I mean, because you could argue that he should already be getting the title shot. But
I believe he should be getting it over Islam, but I understand that Islam is the big draw, and he's probably going to be the guy to get it. I don't even, and you know me, I'm a big Oliveira guy, but I don't know
I
who's
like
winning that main event.
By Beneil, man, because you win this fight, you're undeniable at that point. You have to receive the next.
I would think with Gamrot too at this point. He's earned that, I think.
Yeah,
especially if he beats Dariush at this point. Oh, my God. And then also, Petr Yan versus Sean O'Malley, which is...
Oh, my goodness.
Did not... that came out of nowhere. I got a ESPN notification on my phone, and it was Sean O'Malley tells Ryan Clark he's fighting Petr Yan at UFC 280. I was like, what? Talk about unexpected. We were talking about maybe running it back with Munoz or Vera, someone in that range. Yeah. Nope. Right up to number 2. So if anybody doesn't know if Sean O'Malley's for real, we're going to find out one way or another. Doesn't get much better than Petr Yan in that division. You could argue he's the best in that division, but I still say number 2 because Aljo beat him twice, technically. But either way, I kind of wanted to talk about this fight a little bit. I've talked about it a tiny bit on Instagram, so I feel like it's worth it, to talk about it on the pod. I guess, actually, I'll start with you, because, I have my, opinions, said, and some people might have seen it. So what's, your thoughts on this fight?
Well, I was just as thrown off as you were, and I'm sure a lot of people were, cause
except the casuals.
Yeah,
the casuals were like, fighting for the title.
That's super. I really like it though. Sean O'Malley's just had a weird UFC career so far, but the highlights, they are highlights, and Petr Yan is he's gonna push. He's most likely gonna push Sean O'Malley to the limit, and then if UFC feels all right, he's ready for that test. We're ready to really see who we've got in this guy. Then I really it's just so man, I just feel like it's such a, especially no disrespect to Pedro Munoz, especially after how that last fight went too. It's just because I just
it's unexpected. As good as he looked, it was unexpected.
Petr Yan, he's gonna, it's gonna, I don't know, Sean O'Malley's really gonna have to.
Constant pressure.
He's really, exactly.
He's gonna be on his
really
bike,
gonna have to,
that
exactly.
fight.
I don't think,
he can't put up
exactly.
Cage.
No, I was about to say the same thing. He can't be, working against the cage. He needs to be controlling the center and whatnot. If it's going to the ground, I don't think he can be on his back, and.
I don't think it'll. I don't know though, because he's got people like.
I just feel like
people hate
Piotr
on him
I just
so
feel like
much.
Piotr Jan will just the ground and pound would be relentless.
See, I thought about, and like I'll pretty much just repeat what I said like on Instagram. The reason like why like I think that this fight is more competitive than people are giving Sean credit for is because like, well, for one, people hate Sean, but the other one, like I think of Jan versus Sandhagen, and I think of O'Malley's last fight with
Those
stupid ads. Yeah, I'm
those
on
damn
ESPN's
ads.
website. Go back over there. But anyway, O'Malley, like, he fights very similarly to how Corey Sandhagen fights, and I will argue that O'Malley is much faster and much more powerful. That doesn't mean he's a better fighter. He hasn't proven that yet.
Yeah.
But I do believe on the feet he's a lot faster and he's got more power in his hands. And I think that if Sandhagen was able to give Jan trouble, I think O'Malley can give Jan trouble. But the thing about that fight with Sandhagen is that Jan won it. Like, the last 3 rounds were all Piotr Jan. So Jan is one of those guys who's getting better throughout the fight. That makes the fact that this is 3 rounds better for O'Malley, like, in my opinion, because that means Jan's going to have to go right off the bat.
I'm going to really be inclined to see how Sean O'Malley sets up, like, because I think he's in there looking to knock Peter Yan out. And
he has elite striking.
I'm really just interested to see how he sets that up, like, how he's going to, because I think the way Sean O'Malley can set up a strike is just so beautiful. Like, his combinations and whatnot is just a thing of, like, his absolute art.
Yeah.
But Peter Yan is going to make it so difficult on him.
I don't know if he's going to be able to knock him out. He might be able to win, but I don't know if he's going to be able to knock him out. Because, like, with the Munoz fight,
is it?
Sean
and
didn't get hit once.
This is five rounds, right?
3.
Oh, it's 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that, in my opinion, favors O'Malley.
Yeah, no, it does. I didn't know if I honestly was under the impression that it was 5 rounds.
Yeah, no,
I thought it was
3.
like a co-main.
See, but like I think about the reach advantage that O'Malley has and how great he looked on the feet versus Pedro Munoz. Like, Munoz didn't land 1 strike on his head. Like, that's crazy. And Munoz is, like, he's had wars with champions. And, like, even they couldn't make it look that easy. And, like, you know, I don't know what was going to happen, but that fight looked like that was trending towards the Sean O'Malley win at the very least, finish at the most. Like, he was turning up the volume in round 2 a lot. And
Sean O'Malley's still just so young, too. And he's already fighting the number 2 ranked contender in the division. It's like, wow.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like, that's why I agree with you that he's had, like, the weirdest career, because both times they've tried to push him into those upper echelons, he's had, like, good performances but weird outcomes. Like, the Cheeto fight, before that leg kick, he was looking really good, but obviously, you know, he kicked him in the peroneal nerve. It's the perfect spot for a leg kick, and finished the fight. You know, it's a loss one way or the other. Whether he looked good or not, it's a loss. And then Pedro Munoz, this fight was another one. He looked really good, trending towards the direction of a win, and I don't think this one was going to end the way that the Vera one did. And eye poke, fluke, no contest. Like, it's weird because, like, in both those fights, he looked really good, but he didn't get the win. So, like, to me, he's proven it. In my opinion, he's proven that he's up there with those guys. He can hang with them at the very least. But this fight, talk about going up there, like, getting thrown to the wolves. Piotr Yan might be one of the best fighters he'll ever face in his career, let alone, like, right now. It's just, I love this fight. That's why this card might be card of the year. Fights.
I don't think Sean can give his back to Piotr Yan. I don't think he can be backed up against the cage. None of that. Like, he's really gotta keep this on the feet as much as he can and work the center, like, as much as he can.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, and hey, the co-main event is the bantamweight title fight. If Sean O'Malley wins, theoretically, his next fight could be for the title.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
Yeah, we're here already.
It's here. But I guess going backwards in a way to something we briefly just mentioned, UFC 279, main event, 5 rounds. The reason why the bantamweight title fight was moved, Khamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz as the UFC 279 main event. I would like to have a moment of silence for Nate Diaz. Okay. So, God, man, this is good. He has a chance. I'll give him that. But not a high one by any stretch.
Oh, my goodness,
This is a horrible matchup. That's how you know he wanted out of that contract. He literally just took that fight.
And now Dana's like, Dana's like, screw you, Nate. Like, have this fight, give the fans.
Well, Nate said he would fight him, though. He said it on Ariel Hall. He said, I don't care. Give me anybody. I'll fight Hamza. I don't give a shit. He's like, I think he said he was never offered. That's what he said. And so he says, if they offer me him, I will say yes. And he said yeah.
Oh my
Jesus Christ. Bro. Like, that's another fight.
So great. This is like one of those fights where you just playfully like think of in your head, you don't expect it to actually happen. And it's actually
main event too.
Happening. A sanctioned freak.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be sanctioned, but it's definitely a crazy matchup.
No, I'm telling, crazy thing says like this, like if Nate, as long as Nate Diaz doesn't get knocked out in like the first minute or so,
or taken down, slammed on his head like a child,
finished in any like sort of capacity, like
this fight's gonna look like the Roy McDonald fight. Like, he's gonna get thrown in that octagon.
It's gonna be violent. Like even if it's just one way for like Hamza, just absolutely, because how I see it's like Hamza, it's going like. Obviously, the referee is gonna have to do his job eventually and step in. But Nate is not like he don't. It won't even. I really won't. It won't matter to Nate like how much damage. I was talking to a friend because I feel like the only person who won't realize he's getting destroyed is Nate Diaz.
Yeah, he's still gonna be in there, just getting his ass beaten full mount. It's just like Hamza is so much stronger than him. Not even like a question on that. His wrestling is way better. And, like, people are saying, like, oh, well, Gilbert Burns, like, he didn't want to go to the ground with him because of his jiu-jitsu. Yeah, but that's not the same. Gilbert Burns has elite jiu-jitsu. Nate Diaz has good jiu-jitsu. That's not the same thing. Like, and the thing is, too, Gilbert Burns has crazy good takedown defense. Nate Diaz does not have good takedown defense. Like, this is a burial. Like, I'm so
insane.
And I think that if he goes to fight Jake Paul after this in boxing, I think that'll be a burial, too. As sad as that is to say, that fucking Jake Paul beat Nate Diaz in a boxing match. Because that's what I think is going to happen, personally. I think that's why he wants to leave. Because he sees all the money he could be making.
Yeah.
But, what a joke. Hopefully he doesn't do that, though. I mean, it'd be something if he won this fight and just dipped. Ends that hype train and leaves. I'd respect that so much, but I just do not see that happening in any stretch of the imagination.
So it's really just how Hamza wins, honestly.
Yeah, and when and how, what way? This is messed up, man. But he brought it on himself. I mean, it all led to this.
It is pretty. Yeah, it is messed up, but you're right.
It is what it is. I mean. Sucks. Definitely sucks, but it's going to be a fun one no matter what. I can't wait to see the press conference for that one.
No, yeah.
Talk about two guys who can't even talk. Like, we're going to be talking. Because Hamza, you can barely understand him. He talks, he's like, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm going to discuss this guy. He's like really quiet. Like, he barely even talks into the mic. And Nate, like, you can't even understand what Nate's saying half the time. But that's going to be a fun press conference. Anyway. What an eventful week of just MMA storylines and fights. I mean, there was Bellator too, but that kind of sucked. I don't want to talk about it, to be honest. But yeah, good UFC card. A lot of storylines, a lot of cool fights that were
and
announced.
More good UFC cards coming up.
Yeah, I know. We got the pay-per-view this coming week. We'll have the Hurt Sportsbook coming later this week. Special long episode, of course. Got that coming. Obviously Talking Tough has ended, but Tough is not over. The Tough finale is August 6th on the Santos versus Hill card. I figure I'll probably have a special episode or something for that. Yeah. I haven't thought about it fully yet. But, yeah, I mean, the UFC slate is crazy. I think the week after that is Vera versus Cruz, and it's just going from there, I'm sure. I forget the rest of the fights this month, but there's a lot. There's definitely... I'm kind of curious, actually. I want to know future events. I want to go on Santos Hill, Vera Cruz. Next one after that is Usman versus Edwards. And that one also has Merab versus Aldo and Paulo Costa versus Luke Rockhold. Oh my God. And then September 3rd, it's Gane versus Tuivasa, and then after that is Diaz versus Hamzat. We're already into September at that point. And after that is Sandhagen versus Song Yadong. And then UFC 280, oh my god. This just keeps getting better and better.
Wow.
Well, actually, there's probably going to be cards after Sandhagen versus Song. There's a long time between that and the pay-per-view, so there's probably going to be some fight nights. But either way, that's all coming within the next few months. Man, we're lucky. We're lucky to be watching this stuff, man. But next week, we'll be back, obviously, breaking down the action of UFC 277 on the Hurt Handbook. So stay tuned for all the content this week. And not certain yet, but we think we have something special coming. Once we get it fully ranged out, we'll explain it a little more and what's to come on the channel. But something big might be coming. So we'll stay tuned for that, and we'll see you guys next time.